what is happening in the situation. You don't stare at the situation. You look at, okay, where is God in this situation? What is he trying to help me with here? What upgrade is available? What am I doing about this? And so today we're going to talk about how to think like a leader, not a victim. How to think like a leader, not a victim. Now, here's the truth. This is interesting because most people that think like victims don't think they do. Most people that think like victims, they think they're just reporting the news. They think they're just observing. They think that they're just like, well, yeah, this did happen. And yeah, I'm sure that thing did happen, but they would never classify themselves as thinking like a victim because they're like, well, look at what happened, And so it's an interesting deal because you can't call someone out and say, hey, you're thinking like a victim, because they're going to say, what the hell you mean? I got fired. The company closed down. I got terminated. I got this prognosis. They did betray me. They did talk behind my back. They'll have excuses and valid reasons of why they feel the way they feel and why they're talking the way they talk, but they won't be able to comprehend that that's not the best way to do it. Now, if you don't have my leadership book and you're in network marketing, at least, I would highly suggest get this. Basically, it's about 100 pages. It is what, by the time I wrote this, I had coached probably 400 or 500 6 and 7-figure earners in network marketing. And I just put in this book what I teach them about culture and being a better leader for their team. In fact, I love the little headline up here. We did a good job on this. How to reduce frustration, drive massive duplication, and become a leader worth following. It's pretty good. So you can get it on Amazon if you want. And so there you go. All right. And so how to think like a leader, not a victim. And I'm gonna mix, a couple things into here. All right. So first of all, if you want to be constantly handicapped, disabled, crushed, and victimized, just focus on the situation. Just focus on the wrong. Focus on what happened, what someone did to you, how they betrayed you. And what you'll find is, and this is, neuroscience of, what we our thoughts and actions, they your thoughts and feelings, right? Thoughts, start in the neocortex, right? You start to agree with them. They pass to the chemical brain, the emotional brain, and it creates feelings, right? So thoughts precede feelings, and feelings feed back to your thoughts. And so now you're thinking and feeling and thinking, and you start to become addicted to those chemicals. So if you're used to looking at what's wrong or what's bad about your environment and your atmosphere and your life, you actually start to get addicted to noticing that. Because as your cells die off, they inherit the past cells that have those same traits, that look for those things. And so where's the hope? Where's the hope here? Well, the hope is, and I learned this from Graham Cook. He teaches it so brilliantly, no pun intended. And so instead of looking at the situation or the person that wronged you, or the diagnosis or the termination or the falling of the company or whatever, you look to, where is God in this situation? And so there's two places here. All right. And so instead of stare at the situation that I don't like, that really sucks, that is unfair, that is unjust, that shouldn't have happened, that is a total BS that this thing happened, right? If you stare and focus at that, not only will you get more of that, but you're not gonna have open eyes for possibilities, for upgrades, and for what God is actually trying to help you with. Is this making sense? Is this helpful? What is happening in the situation? You don't stare at the situation. You look at, okay, where is God in this situation? What is he trying to help me with here? What upgrade is available? What am I doing about this? Because his nature is to always grow you, always. And if you want to know your faith is dependent on how much you know he loves you. And see, there's a lot of people that love God, but don't know how much he loves them. So their faith is very weak. So their faith is, well, I don't know if he's going to help me out with this thing. And so you focus on results, and you have this expectation of lowness, of mediocrity, of not enoughness, of it ain't going to work out like that. Okay. But what you have to understand is it's not always the result. It's not the result that tells you how much God loves you. That would be a spoiled child. Like if my children based how much I love them on how much candy I give them every day, they'd be 200 pounds, because I would just, well, here's more and more, right? So a good father, and we do the best that we can as earthly moms and dads, but a good father is going to help you with the biggest lessons that you need. So sometimes that lesson is for you not to get that result doing that thing he never called you to do anyway. So there's the two-step process. All right, three, fine. Three-step process. I know just sounds better. Okay. So three-step process on how to think like a leader, not a victim. Number one, don't stare at the situation. In fact, when a situation arises, that's for you to step back and be like, okay, all right, Lord, what does this mean? What are we doing about this? Am I doing anything about it? What am I to learn from this? And what you'll find is if you do that kind of process, you'll find that some of the biggest punches in your face throughout your life were actually some of your biggest blessings. So, for example, me, when I lost it all, went into foreclosure, went through divorce, all of that actually led me to amazing blessings. First of all, I need to be humbled. I was very arrogant. I was very arrogant when I was doing real estate. Anyone that knew me back then knows that's true, right? I was. I needed to be humbled. So that was actually quite a blessing for me to lose it all. For me not to think that, oh, I'm unstoppable. Like I can do whatever I want. And so that was quite helpful to me. Now at the time it didn't. The book of Hebrews talks about that. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. And see, we always want that result. We want that new client. We want that rank advance. We want that sale. We want all that stuff, but results don't last. Lessons have a better chance of lasting. Now, sometimes the lesson has to be repeated until it's learned. But I love another thing that Graham Cook says. He says that with God, you never fail a test. You're just given an unlimited amount of tries to pass. How nice is that? Pretty kind of him, because he's dedicated to our growth. He's dedicated to our progress. So that thing that happened that you didn't like might have been a forcing function to get you to move in a different direction. I think it was Bella asked about my YouTube channel. And so, July 1st, I felt like something big was going to happen in July. I didn't know what it was. And so on July 1st, I get notified my YouTube account that I've been building for 8 or 9 years shut down. Okay. Now, how might I have reacted? Oh my man, I dropped well over $150,000 building that channel and real money, not time, because I had probably about a year of professional videos where I went to a studio. I forget what I was paying, but I was paying thousands of dollars every month to get them edited, to get them all shimmied up. Dropped over $100,000, I think, each time to do, Play to Win, Series 1 and 2. All of that stuff was on that channel. And the majority of it, we did not have backups of. Okay. And so how could I have reacted? Because what's the point in teaching something like this if there's never anything I could have been victimized about, or I could have felt like a victim? The untested sailor isn't very wise. Okay. So YouTube channel, 8, 9 years, 23,000 subscribers, millions of views, gone. And so my first reaction wasn't, oh no, oh, I can't believe this. This is so unfair. Let me go put them on blast on social media. My first was, okay, let me step back. All right, God, this isn't a surprise to you. See, he wasn't surprised by your termination, by your prognosis, by your diagnosis. He wasn't surprised by your company shutting down. He wasn't surprised by anything that's ever happened in your life. That wasn't, oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming. Oh man, I better help Ray out. No, he wasn't surprised. And so if he ain't surprised, I don't need to be surprised. So I step back. I'm like, okay, Lord, what does this mean? And there was the button. And the button says, do you want to appeal the shutdown? And I'm like, Lord, am I appealing? No. Okay. I launching a new one? Yes. All right. Any instructions? It's going to be about sales. Okay. It's all about sales. Got it. We launch it. It's growing like crazy. I feel fantastic about it. And I also don't have to worry because over the last 8, 9 years, I've had major changes, right? I came to Christ 2.5 years ago, which changed everything for me. But I had a full 5, 6 years before that where I talked about new age stuff. I talked about all kinds of different things. And so, we start this new channel. See, that's how you think like a leader. You think like a leader, by saying, okay, God, what are we doing in this situation? And number two, how are we serving others? He said, we're starting a new channel and it's going to be about sales. That's the answer of those two things, right? In your situation, what are you focused on? Are you focused on what happened? Are you focused on the problem? Are you focused on how it's unfair to you? Okay. If you are, then you are thinking like a victim, and there's no power there. There's no power. If you know how much God loves you and you know his nature is to always grow you, then you can turn to him in the situation. And this is why, what is it? James 1:2, I believe, says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you face trials of different sorts. Why would you count it all joy? Why would you count it all joy? Because you know an upgrade's possible. He's always trying to upgrade you. He's always trying to get you to know how much he loves you. And he's doing that in a manner for you to go and serve other people. That's what a leader does. A leader serves other people. And if you want to serve the most amount of people, stay in step with the Spirit and turn to God instead of the situation. And so I hope that's helpful to you. I appreciate you so very much. And God bless you. God bless your family. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.